Hey guys, this is week 45 Project Life, and today I'm using the brand new Hustle and Heart December Life Crafted kit from Citrus Twist. I'm sort of started with my photos as normal, and then I started looking through the cards, and I pulled out that kind of starburst one there, and that's going to end up being the sort of color scheme, the base for my color scheme this week. I really loved it. It's all really sort of warm. I mean, the whole kit's quite warm and cozy, really, but that card has all those warm colors in it with just those couple of little pots of blue, the sort of tealy blue colors, and I thought it worked really nicely with my photos because those are all pretty much the same, nice warm toned photos with just that tiny pop of blue. So I decided that that's what I would go with. Now I picked out a 4x6 card, and then I did need a 4x6 card down the bottom here as well, but I ended up going for this really warm wood grain paper from the 6x8 papers and just trimmed that down. Now one of the things I really wanted to use from the die cut pack, there are 3 tags in this die cut pack that all have numbers die cut out of them, and I really wanted to use that. I mean, I don't often journal a lot, but when I do, I find it really helpful to use numbering as sort of a prompt, I guess. And so I wanted to take the opportunity to do that. So I've got those 3 tags, and I've just been sort of shuffling them and the photos around depending on what story that I wanted to sort of tell. And there were 3 kind of stories that I really wanted to tell this particular week. So that's what I've done. I was sort of attempting to kind of offset them because I've got that sort of more bluey coloured photo with a peachy coloured tag on it, and then I've got 2 other warm toned photos, the clouds down the bottom and the candy canes up the top, but only one of the little blue tags. So I was sort of juggling which one of those I was going to use where. I did go through the rest of the ephemera pack, but there was really only one little piece that I wanted to use, so I've pulled that out, and then I'm just looking through the rest of the embellishments in the pack. All sorts of beautiful things. It's not a particularly like Christmassy themed kit, which I appreciate because not all of us are doing December daily, and some of us are and already have enough and just need some stuff to document the rest of life. So I appreciate that it isn't filled with Christmas things. So you can see here, I'm very carefully trying to pull out the cutouts from the tags, just because that way you get 2 sets of numbers. You can use the tags as elements, you can use the little die cut numbers as elements. I did experiment with both because I was feeling like on a 3x4 photo like that, it takes up a lot of space, and I wondered about the number, but actually I really love the tag as an element. So the other thing that I'm fighting my brain over is the fact that the 3 is on the left, and I really kind of wanted it to be sort of chronological, I guess, 1, 2, 3. Now that I'm looking at it on the video, it's not as bad because if you look down, it goes 1, 2, 3 down. So it just is a little bit, it was a little bit off-putting that it wasn't quite going to work out exactly how I wanted it, but it's close enough. I decided to emphasize the fact that these are tags by adding a little bit of twine to them. So I just grabbed some black and white twine out of my stash. This one I'm being just a little bit careful to make sure I place the tag centered, but so that the twine goes between Lily and Mel, just so I'm not covering up anybody's face with the twine. But I do love that sort of little bit of graphic nature and the fact that it really does let you know that this is a tag. So I've committed, I've stuck everything down, which means I can go and do my journaling now. I just ran the card straight through my typewriter as it was, so it's not particularly neat. I just followed the shape of the heart and kept my journaling inside the white heart. I did wonder about adding something to it, but I actually think it's more than enough on its own. I just was feeling like this layout became really simple, and not that there's anything wrong with that, it just felt like it should have been harder and it wasn't. So that's why there's a lot of dilly-dallying going on. There's also these really pretty tealy greeny coloured tiny word stickers in here. And so I did decide to add a few of those. This one went on so not straight, so I very carefully peeled it off. I did rip it a little bit, but it stuck back down really nicely. And I'm going to do the same treatment to the other tags. It was just a matter of trying to find the right sentiment. There were a lot on here, as always. A bit more careful trying to get that one straighter, and the 3x4 photo with the tag on it already has a lot going on, so I decided instead to add it to the other 3x4 photo and just leave that number 2 tag alone as it is. Now I'm going to work on this bottom card down here because I printed out this photo and it was really quite small. It did get a little bit lost on that really dark background, so I decided to matte it with some of this pretty peach color paper, and it kind of helps keep that same scheme going with the warmer toned papers, and then that little pop of blue actually is coming from my photo. But because it's so small, it looks really unbalanced having that very large space on the right hand side, and I was thinking that I did actually want to journal about this photo, but couldn't work out how I was going to do it. And so I'm messing around with a tag, and in the actual die cut pack there is a 3x4 die cut, which gave me the idea that maybe I would add another 3x4 card on top of my wood grain paper, so it makes this 4x6 piece look like 2 3x4s. I went through some of the actual 3x4 journal cards, just trying to find a nice placement and color options. I liked that teal one, but in the end I'm going to cut down the 3x8 card just because there's so much blank space in there. It gives me a lot of room for journaling, which again I went and did on my typewriter, and I just need to add a little bit of adhesive so I can stick that on top of my 4x6 paper, and then I can glue my photo down as well. Now again, because I ran that through my typewriter, there's some odd gaps in spacing, so I am going to fill those in with a little bit of stamping. And I went and grabbed the Traveler's Notebook stamp set instead of the stamp set that's in the Life Crafted kit. The Life Crafted one, the sentiments were all a little bit large and not quite right for my card, for my journaling, sorry. So the Traveler's Notebook one worked perfectly, and I did manage to find a sort of colour ink that was going to tie in with that sort of colour scheme. It's a sort of really dark, almost the same colour of the dark teal in the original card where I picked the colours from. So keeping it really simple, it says right now at the top, down the bottom it says date, and instead of a date, because I date stamped my title card, I just stamped another sentiment that says nope, not today. This was sort of the beginning of Lily's health saga, so I've got a little photo of some of her medication anyway, and so that's what I had journaled about, so it didn't deserve a kind of positive sentiment, that one. Now all I've got left to do is work on my title card, because I really was desperate to add some of those gold stars, but they just were not going to work with this colour scheme. It's a beautiful shiny bright yellowy gold colour, and it wasn't warm enough to work in with this colour scheme. So instead of trying to force it again, I just moved on. Now I did trim out one of the labels from the cut apart sheet, and I chose this teal coloured one. It's as close as I could get to the alphas in the kit. Because the card has already got those warm tones on it, I'm now adding the tealy ones in. I started pulling off the alphas and then realised there's no numbers on this alpha set, so I'm going to have to come up with a plan B. So I'm adding the alphas just above the label, and I'm going to end up stamping some numbers on top of the label. So I've used the Outline Alpha stamp again. It's one of my favourites. It is still available in the Citrus Twist store. It's a really good staple, plus it has numbers. I'm just going to stamp the two numbers there in that same tealy coloured ink. And then I'm going to add my date stamping with black ink just to add a little bit of pop of darkness to the top, just to balance out all those other tiny touches of black that are around about the page. It is quite a large label, but I still am sort of partially stamping my stamp there and just using the backing from those stamp sets to mask that off. It's a really handy way to get a partial stamp. Add my little dot with my gel pen, and that is this layout all done. Super simple, kind of graphic, and I love that warm color scheme with those wee pops of cool blue. It's a little bit different for me, but I do love how it turned out. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there's a couple more videos on screen, or why not check out my Patreon page? There are even more videos over there. Otherwise, I'll see you again next time. Bye!